Here we are. Let's do this. Let's look back on a game that's difficult to look back on. We're angry. I'm angry. It's hard to know what to say. It's actually hard to know who to be angry at. I want your thoughts on this 2-1 defeat at Tottenham Hotspur, a match which could have been so different and gone down as one of United's biggest away wins in the Premier League. And I mean that in terms of significance, but it wasn't to be, as an unusually large amount of time was added on. Was that correct? Was that the correct amount of time to be added on? A few years ago, you would never have seen a board indicating 12 minutes added on, which ended up being more like 15. It just wouldn't have happened, even if it should have. Pop your comments in and let's look back at this Tottenham versus Sheffield United game. We'll start with team news. We know this was Paul Heckingbottom's 100th game in charge of the Blades. 51 wins. It was close to being 52. Spurs, the home side, unchanged from their win over fellow promoted side Burnley. Had Vicario in net, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, and the under-21 Italian international Udogi at the back. Sarr, Basuma, Chatty Maddison, the player of the month for August, Kulusevski, Son, the captain, and Solomon. On the bench, Forster, Dyer, Davis, Royale, Højbjerg, Skip on his 23rd birthday, Perisic, Richarlison, and Johnson. United rang the changes. Of course we did. Always got so many injuries to contend with, all of which I'd mentioned on the match preview. Watch those. They're funnier than these. Wes in goal, 20 Premier League saves to his name this season. It was going to end up being a lot more. So that was before the game he had that many saves. Bogle in for the injured Baldock. Basham, the captain, right centre-back. Anel in the centre for the injured John Egan. Jack Robinson at left centre-back. Luke Thomas with his first start at left wing-back in for Larousse. The midfield was Hamer or Harmer. I haven't really decided how I'm going to pronounce it. And right now, it's the least of my concerns. Sousa and the returning loan starlet James McAtee. The last time he'd played for the club was a 2-1 away win at Birmingham City when he and Ollie McBurney scored. McBurney would play in this game and Archer alongside him up top. I'd be really interested in your thoughts on Cameron Archer's performance today. United tackle leader Oliver Norwood sat out on the bench along with Adam Davies, Tom Davies, Austin Trusty, you can't understand that. Femi Sariki, Slimani, and Traore. 3 players with the surname Davies on the benches today for the United and Tottenham. It was the battle as well of the 4-syllable surnames between Postecoglou and Heckingbottom. And I'm just going to take a quick moment before the full review, and this is going to be full, to say shout out to Fullwood FC. They said to me, hey, Hal, massive Blade fans. We're a 16-year-old group of boys who play in a 5-a-side football team who play on Friday nights. And we're just trying to get a bit more popular if people would follow us on Instagram. So fullwood.fc on Instagram, F-U-L wood.fc on Instagram if you'd like to do that. First half then. United started really well. I was impressed with Vinicius Sousa clattering into the back of Kulusevski early on, just letting him know he's there. 15 minutes, referee Peter Banks, bizarrely, when he got clattered into the back. So just a very bizarre performance. He let that one go. He didn't give the Blades a free kick, got that wrong. And in my opinion, when we last had this ref, he also had a fairly busy game. When we last wore yellow, Forest away, Sarr had a header at Wes on 17. I remember Kulusevski crossing in from the right and Sarr getting that. You know, Wes involved again seconds later, earning the first corner of the match for Tottenham. And I thought United should have had a corner earlier than that as well in the game, but the liner wasn't quite up to speed and missed it. Thankfully, Tottenham's corner came to nothing. Basuma as well worked his way into a shooting position. This was a really incredible moment in the game. Just really busy into the box, 19, gliding past United's Vinny Sousa and Basham. More on him later. And hitting it low at Wes. After 21 minutes, Spurs had 5 efforts on goal. Song had a shot from outside the box, curling towards Wes's left-hand post. He managed to get it behind for a corner. Then the best chance of the game on 23, United forcing Vicario into action for the first time in the match. McAtee it was, shot low at the Spurs keeper. It was Bogle on the right. He got to that byline. He pulled it back and McAtee steered it, but he steered it close to the keeper who saved. Would have been a smash and grab after 66% possession from Spurs up to that point. I felt like with McAtee, you know, he did everything, right? Yeah, sure. But maybe if he had put it either side of the keeper, I think he scores there. And that was just one of those moments when I think we might look back on that one. And as it turned out, it would be a game where we might look back on one or two moments. Quick word on McBurney winning those flick-ons, good feet at times in the first half as well, winning his tackles. In particular, a moment on 43 was exceptional centre-forward play when he won it, showed skill to get away from two men, and then won a free kick. Just a little bit of breathing space. We needed more than that, a lot more of that in this game. I'm not blaming McBurney. I'm saying other players, because McBurney did a centre-forward's job today. What a legend he is. Also, if you missed this little story, when Simon Moore was playing for Sheffield United, he asked Ollie McBurney if he could book a restaurant close to where the Scottish striker lived. Ollie naturally obliged. When Simon and his partner arrived at the establishment, they were informed that all the drinks for the entire evening were courtesy of Mr. McBurney. He would pick up the tab for the drinks. Now, for more stories like that, check out our player interviews on this very channel. The latest is with Simon Moore. I want to talk about as well Jackie Longthrow, JLT, Jack Robinson, Robbo, or if you prefer, Jack Lobinson. Hat tip Al Lansdowne with that one. So he went down after a challenge on 25, but bounced back, and he really would bounce back. He got a knock there and then just went on in this game to have a magnificent performance, Jackie Longthrow. I thought he was exceptional. Solomon had a shot for Spurs on 27 from the D at Premier League Wes. Let's call him that. The fifth save the keeper had made. As I say, 27 minutes, this time low to his right. Basham got booked on 29, and I thought that could have been costly. Basham then on Maddison in the box on 33. Maddison, very chatty in this game, appealed for a penalty. VAR said no pen, and on we played. If you're interested, I watched this back. Basham got none of the ball, but Maddison went down very easily. Perhaps if this had been outside the box, the ref might have given that. I think if Peter Banks had given that penalty, VAR would not have overturned it. In my opinion, it was clumsy. Don't know if it was enough for a penalty. If it had been, Basham, I think, would have been sent off. And that's why I mentioned the yellow before. Then Maddison had an attempt on target after this, straight at Wes. That was on 34 minutes. Wes then went down injured after that. And it was the way he landed following what was a quite routine save. And he was down for some time. He hopped, he shook his legs, but generally looked uncomfortable. And we'd see him look uncomfortable again. Adam Davies warmed up. Wes carried on. Maddison, close on 40 minutes, firing across goal, just not quite clean enough. And it was past the far post for a goal kick. Archer got booked on 41. Wes was booked on 44. What was he doing here as he handled the ball outside the box on the right-hand side? I thought he should have booted it at the time or maybe shadowed it, and kind of just blocked and watched it. Maybe that would have been a risky strategy. But, oh my, what was he thinking? So he handled it, and it was a free kick given 4 yards from the byline. Maddison and Kulusevski were over it. Maddison to Kulusevski is what he did. He played it, shot hit a Blades player and out for a corner. And Spurs kept the ball. They were passing it around patiently until they weren't. And Bogle won a corner on the right. Our first in the match. 3 minutes of added time is when this one came on the right-hand side. And McBurney's header was straight at Vicario from Hamer's corner. Big chance this one. Again, one United would look back on. United went into the break level. A good away performance first half. 3 minutes of stoppage time had been shown. I expected more. I actually tweeted this at halftime. Chris Basham, I love him, but he's scaring me. Trusty on at the break, ? Basham's been booked, doesn't have the answer for Spurs' pace. I think they will exploit that. I was thinking Trusty in the middle, which would be fine for me because people might say he's left-footed. Left foot, right foot, shouldn't make a difference in the middle. Anyway, he didn't. Second half, we kicked off the second half as is tradition after the first 45, and there were no changes. Then Wes was hurt again on 48. Van de Ven clattering into him aggressively for no reason. Van de Ven got a yellow, quite rightly so. Wes was sporting a bruised cheekbone after that. And this is the thing. First half, 3 minutes was added on. I felt there should have been more time added on in the first half. Now, second half, I've just mentioned that first moment there. That was legitimately Wes hurt. Adam Davies looked like he was about to be brought on, but no, Wes said he could continue. What is he supposed to do at that point? He had a massive shiner on his face. He was clattered into. He didn't clatter into himself. Tottenham caused that. So you're going to get Tottenham fans that are going to say, this was all Sheffield United's fault. We were asking for all this added time, right? This was a genuine injury. Later on, Bogle would have a genuine injury. Like, he'll probably be injured because this is Sheffield United, We've got to deal with the fallout of this. And in many ways, it's a fallout of morale, a fallout of losing McBurney. We'll get onto that. And there's bound to be injuries because we seem to pick them up every single game. I will mention Jackie Longthrow was very good with his tackling and shielding, putting his body on the line for the cause throughout this game. McBurney took a yellow for a tired lunge on 56 minutes on Solomon, who would later get booked for getting McBurney back on 68. Really bad challenge. Great block from Jack Robinson. I wanted to mention this to deny Son Heung-min on 56. Then he blocked Kulusevski straight away afterwards. I mean, it's really hard. If you want to get Trusty in, at the moment, you just can't drop Jack Robinson. Yeah, he's not been great every game, but he was good in this game. A Spurs fan threw a second ball on the pitch. They'd already done that once. They did it again. This is not Sheffield United wasting time here, all right? This is as Spurs were attacking, and Peter Banks gave a drop ball to United. Son, the captain, wasn't happy with this decision. Even sub Højbjerg was speaking to the fourth official, David Webb. That added more time. They were arguing about this decision. Blame your own fans for throwing a ball back on the pitch. Also, speaking of fans, United fans, an absolutely fantastic voice. I was so proud. I actually got really emotional. Luke Thomas put in a shift as well against Sarr. Jackie Longthrow booked on 63 after kicking our free kick, which he's entitled to take, through the legs of Son. Why was he booked? Was he booked for unsportsmanlike conduct? Odd, that one. I've refereed. I've never seen that happen. Sousa on Basuma, that rhymes, in the box on 64. Spurs claim for a penalty, was looked at by VAR. Yeah, a nudge was there, no foul given. Son then went down and appealed for a penalty. Spurs' third shout for a spot kick in this game. Bogle was being held by Son. He was holding his shorts. I remember that. Basham did put an arm across, not enough. McAtee had an effort at Vicario on 67, saved another attempt at the smash and grab from United. You know, it's a strategy that really, I think, with our 11 against their 11, I admired and we had to do. Now, I was really surprised at the starting 11. I spoke about this on the preview. Oliver Norwood was brought on for McAtee to try and help United actually keep possession and get some control in this game. And I was very surprised McAtee started over Norwood. And McAtee, as he went off, received a great ovation from United's away following. He actually limped off, hopefully just tired. Great to have him back. I felt McAtee on for the last 20 against Spurs' tired legs was the way to go. I say this, though. I mean, with the nonsense rules, and I do think they're nonsense, of the amount of subs you can make now, it probably isn't tired legs at the end anymore against these squads, your big boy squads that have a lot more subs. They can name a fuller bench and they can bring on so many players. You've almost got, it's like half the team that can be replaced. And I really hate that. I think 3 subs is fine. I remember a time when it was less. But United had been defending really well. Spurs fans at this point were getting restless. I felt this was the turning point. They were getting frustrated. It felt like they wanted substitutions. And they wanted Wes to get on with it every time he had the ball in his hands or at his feet. And, you know, I could probably say that was fair. United won a second corner of the game, I know, on 72 minutes, following good work on the left from Luke Thomas, who looked assured, he looked composed in a defending capacity. It was nice to see that from a left wing-back this season. And then we had the goal, 74 minutes. Hamer from a throw-in on the left, flicked on by that man McBurney to the far post, and Hamer did everything right. I love this lad. What a signing. What an upgrade. And he placed it in off the post, technically magnificent, on his left as well, steered it away from the keeper. The smash and grab was on. You'd have to go all the way back to 1991 before football existed, before the Premier League, when the Blades last won at Tottenham. Kevin Gage scoring that day. You know, maybe Hamer will become a pundit. Bogle with a great challenge in the box. This deserves mentioning on Solomon following a slide rule pass. Superb defending. Had to get that right because, you know, this Spurs side would have appealed for a penalty, you know, which ironically would have added on more time. Triple change for the home side. Son, Solomon and Sarr, all the S's off. Perisic on his 50th Tottenham appearance on. Richarlison and Brennan Johnson all on 79. I remember reading about Richarlison in the week, what he's been going through, a psychologist. And I remember saying to a colleague at work, he'll score. He will score this weekend. And we'll get to it. Hamer off on 80 minutes. He was struggling. And a great reaction from the Blades faithful. He deserved it. And Everton's former midfielder, Tom Davies, was on. First thing he did was win the ball and then fall over claiming a foul. It wasn't a foul. And it left Tottenham in a position to attack and it let them back in. And they had the ball in the back of the net following that, but disallowed for a foul on Jack Robinson in the build-up. It was their 26th attempt on the Blades' goal by 80 minutes. Bogle was struggling after going down earlier. And you'd expect Sariki possibly to replace him, like for like. Basuma, by the way, was furious with Bogle, accusing him of play acting. Again, this added on more time. If Basuma had just let Bogle go down, get the treatment, and then they'd have assessed him and gone, right, he's injured, it would actually have taken up less time. Pathetic stuff. He should have been booked. Peter Banks, the referee, thankfully did book Basuma. The 9th yellow of a match which wasn't that feisty, wasn't that ugly. Yet it got 9 bookings at this point. There would be more to come. Trusty was on for the Blades. The American defender signed from Arsenal, replacing Bogle. Anel, it looked like, was playing sort of, I'd like to say right wing back, but we weren't really playing that way at this point. A change in defence. With everyone pretty much playing at the back, it was hard to tell what formation it was. Brennan Johnson had the ball in the back of the net for Tottenham. 87 minutes on the clock. A nice finish on the right, following a ball over the top. It was reviewed and correctly ruled out for offside. Wes stopped Kulusevski at the near post on 90 minutes. We'd seen 14 corners at this point from Tottenham. Peter Banks added 12 minutes on the clock. I thought this was a lot. I thought this was more than was necessary or right. As I said earlier, you just don't see it. But then again, you look back at it and go, well, maybe we should always have been adding this amount of time on. But historically, we haven't. And I've grown up watching football where 6 minutes is kind of the max. But maybe that's wrong. Maybe that isn't how it should be. In this new way, since we saw from the World Cup, maybe that's what we're going to have to get used to. I don't think Sheffield United can get used to it, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Tom Davies booked on 92 for a challenge on Pedro Porro. He got the ball, but it was a scissor kick action, and it was a foul, and Porro really felt it. Romero blocked Archer on 94 with a clear foul, about as clear a foul as you'll see. Spurs brought on Højbjerg for Van de Ven, and Emerson Royale was also brought on for Porro, who was struggling after that Davies challenge. Then we had the goal. Richarlison for Tottenham had the ball in the back of the net. On 98 from a corner, his first Spurs goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Nothing Wes could do. Another goal from a cross after United had defended so well from the others in this match. I've mentioned how many corners, but the problem here was Basham not following his man. He lost him from the corner. And I knew at that point, I think all Blades did. It felt like it was going to come, and it did. Kulusevski scoring in the 101st minute, and Spurs had turned it around. I think it was Anel giving the ball away. If I get any of this wrong, I apologise. At this point, I was so angry. I don't remember a lot of what happened. I think Anel tried to play it to Archer, couldn't do much, lost it. Before you knew it, it was 2-1. I think the ball went through Jackie Longthrow's legs, not his fault. I don't want to review that goal too much because I am so gutted. And you're thinking, how can it get worse? And it did. McBurney then got sent off 104 minutes, a second yellow after a scuffle with Brennan Johnson. Possibly the challenge, possibly the dissent. I'm not sure what got him the second yellow. If he got booked for dissent, Maddison should have been booked for dissent. Maddison, by the way, not the captain, and he was chirping at the referee almost all the way, running commentary through this game. He was the second commentator in this match. But it is McBurney who will miss the Newcastle game. He was being fouled, by the way, by Brennan Johnson, initially pulling his shirt. Yes, he reacted, but this was a very poor decision, in my opinion. I think they both could have been booked if you're going to book McBurney. 1 game ban for McBurney. You can't appeal a second yellow. That is that. McBurney, for me, is the only player we cannot replace. Could argue Wes as well, but what the job McBurney does is irreplaceable. We don't have the bodies to replace him. Newcastle looks really, really tough now. James Maddison moaning at the referee, a lot for my liking, and I didn't like seeing it. And I'm not sure we have the depth to play games that are going to go beyond 95 minutes. 2-1, full time, okay. I can accept losing a game, but games that are going to have this much, right? If games are going to be this long, we don't have the bodies. We don't have the players. And I'll tell you now, if games were only 97 minutes long, right, let's just say, right, let's have 97. We'd have more points on the board. But that means it's 4 goals conceded in our first 5 games after the 85th minute. That's 5 points dropped. So our issue is defending late anyway. So we certainly can't handle even more minutes added on. I am very concerned about this. The fatigue at the end, the fact that we don't have what other teams have, that they can just keep bringing players on. What do you think following that match? Fans React coming tomorrow, 10 a.m. on this channel. Well, I'll actually be able to go through stuff probably in more detail, and we'll have a Spurs fan on who I don't want to talk to tomorrow. Let's go through some of your comments. Tom, throwing it away in the dying minutes yet again. 12 minutes added time, a bit exaggerated, but got Spurs up over the line. Absolutely gutted. Same old. Last 20 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I've just said it there. We are conceding late goals. Johnny, you thought we'd done it, so you did speak too soon. Absolutely ridiculous. Get me out of this league, says Danny. 12 minutes added time. What a joke. Yet again, throwing it away at the end of the game. Can't keep going off like this. We will be down by Christmas. Thrown it away. It's every match. It feels like that at the moment, and it's really tough to take. Aaron saying, I thought Bash was lucky to get through 45 without getting exploited. No surprise he lost his man. Yeah, that's what I'm mentioning at this. That first goal, so avoidable. 12 minutes extra time in the first half, not the second. Tracy, I said that, didn't I? The first half was the one, wasn't it, where he only added 3 minutes on, and it felt like a lot more in that one. I actually can't believe that. I knew as soon as the ref said 12, they'd get 2. You know, it kind of felt like a great performance from United. But yeah, we rode our luck. We did. We absolutely rode our luck. On to the next one. It's a shame. It's a shame the next one is a really tough one. A typical Sheffield United match you'll ever see. Remember, Blades, it's not the football that kills you, it's the hope. Do you know what? If we'd gone down early, 1-0, and then gone on to get what we never really get, a spanking, I'd have actually felt better than I do right now. I'd have known we were losing from like the 20th minute. This one really hurts. It properly stings. And it is the hope. And I really thought we were going to pull off one of our best away results. And I'm gutted. You're right. Hit Paul, brilliant. I'm really glad someone else is agreeing with me on this, because you never know when you say these things. If you're kind of on an island here, no man is an island, apart from Barry Island and the Isle of Man. Jack Robinson for man of the match. Hopefully all those who wrote him off eat some humble pie. Who's been saying big fan of Jackie Longthrow, the longest? This call sign. Sorry, lad, you got exactly what you deserved. Look, we're going to get Spurs fans in the comments, and I expect Spurs fans who've already been contacting me. I've got friends who support Tottenham and have been sending me messages. Each and every one of you, you are dead to me. I think Sheffield United will stay up in the Prem this season. Let's hope you are savvy, all right? Because, you know, at the moment, it feels like it's going to be difficult. We are absolute bottle jobs. I'm not going to go along with that. But I am going to, I'll check out Forward FC, as I mentioned before. I am going to say that it seems a concern at the moment for the way that we are conceding goals. We've mentioned those crosses and the fact that we can't hold out late on. Joseph, as per my tweet, Joseph's a good friend of mine, by the way. You've got your tweets protected. So not everyone will have seen your tweet. So I'm glad you share it here. The 12 minutes in the second half would have looked out of place had there been more than 3 in the first half. Exactly. I'm glad more people, quite right, are getting on this train of thought, because you know, you can't add 3 in the first and then go, oh, I got that wrong. How much shall I add? It was ended up being 15 as well. Just wondering what you thought, thinking when Egan's back, right? Do you think he should go straight back in? That's a really great question, because Egan hasn't been on form for Sheffield United this season. Anel looking very comfortable in the centre. But we didn't really, because we brought in Trusty as a left centre-back. And I'm thinking long-term, he's probably looking at as the replacement for Jack Robinson. And you can't drop Jackie Longthrow at the moment. I think if we brought in a right-sided centre-back, then you push Anel into the centre and you've got that option there. But no, I think Egan comes back in. I think Egan will get back in form as well. I'm not too concerned about that. As a Palace fan, I feel your pain this weekend. I'm old school. I don't know any of the Premier League results. I watch Match of the Day without knowing them. I like to do it that way. I used to do that with my dad, and I'm going to keep doing it in honour of his memory. Blades literally slagging Blades off on coach. I'm sat on waiting to get out of this place. James, yeah, I hate that. I've got some really good pals who have been messaging me at the game. And, you know, you never know what you're going to get, of course. An away match, from my vantage point, United fans, absolutely fantastic today. So loud. Man of the match, McBurney. I think you could say McBurney was fantastic. I think you could say that Jackie Robinson was really good. Wes was really good. I think there was quite a few candidates. I asked for your thoughts on Cameron Archer. I'm trying to see if there's any actually thoughts on that. Not a chance in hell are Sheffield fans complaining about the referee. Absolutely shocking all day, and you deserve what you got for time wasting. Enjoy your dinner, Fodrick. Sheffield weren't playing, mate. The problem, I think, is mentally we don't have what it takes to keep our standards up right to the end. Lee making the point there that it is going to be hard at the end. I think it's not so much. I think it's genuine fatigue. Because back to the wall, when you've not got the ball, you're chasing all games. You're going to be tireder than the team with the ball. And as I've mentioned, they can bring on All these quality players. John Fox Richardson. God, it's painful being a Blade, and the worst thing, I just knew it was coming. Onwards and upwards. Hey, look, we're in it for the love, not the glory. We always have been. And do you know what? It might be a difficult season. I'm still confident. I'm still feeling confident that we can just about do enough. I think it's going to be a tough season. I'm really hoping we can stay up. And if we go down, we'll enjoy it. We've got a strong squad for the Championship. We always enjoy the Championship. You know what? Maybe we're going to be a yo-yo side. Maybe until there's a takeover at some point. And I believe there will be. That's not inside knowledge, by the way. That's just guessing. I'm not a Sheffield or Spurs fan. I'm not a Sheffield fan either. I'm a Sheffield United fan. Can we just... This is what I hate about the Premier League. Honestly, it's all these entitled morons. We're United. We're the original United. Call us United. Show us some respect. It's nothing to do with that lot. S6, nothing to do with the pigs. It's to do with Sheffield FC, the first ever football team. Put some respect on their name, because if it wasn't for Sheffield FC, there wouldn't even be football. I'm not even reading that. I'm not even reading that comment. Can't be bothered with it. Right, let's talk about this Maddison comment. Just on your Maddison comment, the leadership group within Tottenham is Son, Maddison. It doesn't matter. The captain is the one who's allowed to speak to the referee. So just forget that, right? That's just the captain can approach the referee and speak to him. You can't just have it, oh, well, it's part of a leadership group. So you will nominate a few players that can go and bother the ref and get in his ear and tell him what to do. Imagine that. That would just be absolute anarchy. If you don't want the extra minutes, honestly, you should stop wasting all the time, especially your goalkeeper. So I think Wes did waste time, and I've said that, and I think that's fair comment. I think other areas was a bit of a mixed bag, but I think you genuinely got to look at that first half of 3 minutes added. So I've not really seen too many comments about individual players, which is probably fair. We don't really want to do that, because I think United players played really well today to a man and gave it their all. It's a gutter. It's a disappointment. Don't call us Sheffield. Let's move on to the next game. I'm going to be doing a fans react, though, which I don't want to do tomorrow. If you can join me for that at 10 a.m., that would be absolutely fantastic. I hope to see you then. If you can enjoy the rest of your evening, that's wonderful. If you're a Tottenham fan, pop your comments in whenever you're watching this. Always welcome thoughts of opposition fans. Call us United, call us the Blades, call us the Dog and Duck, whatever you fancy.